I'm Mia. I'm 20, and I live and work alone in Beijing, one of the biggest and fastest cities in the world. But this is not the Beijing you usually see in travel videos. No landmarks, no perfect morning, and no carefully staged life. This is the real version. Cooking for myself, driving across the city, working, exercising, and learning how to build a life of my own. So what does an ordinary day look like for a 20-year-old girl living alone in China? Let me show you. Living alone gives you freedom, but freedom comes with dishes, groceries, laundry, and a surprising amount of peeling. I used to think independence would feel dramatic. In reality, it often looks like preparing tomorrow's lunch before today is even over. Today I'm keeping it simple. Carrots, broccoli, chicken, and a salad I can take with me. It's not restaurant food, and it doesn't need to be. I like meals that make a busy day feel a little more under control. While the water boils, the apartment gets quiet. These small sounds have slowly become the soundtrack of living by myself. Some people cook to impress. I cook because future me will be hungry and probably too tired to make good decisions. That is one thing Beijing has taught me quickly. Make life easier before life becomes difficult. The chicken goes in next. Nothing fancy, just something warm, clean, and dependable. When you're 20, everyone asks about big plans. Very few people ask whether you ate properly today. So this is my answer. I am learning to take care of the small things before chasing the big ones. The plate is finally coming together, and honestly, this is one of my favorite moments. Not because it looks perfect, but because I made it for myself from beginning to end. There is a quiet confidence in knowing that, even on an ordinary day, I can create something complete. And because one meal is never enough, I start preparing a second one for work. Meal prep is not very cinematic, but it saves money, saves time, and stops me from ordering food when I am exhausted. I mix different greens, partly for health and partly because colorful food makes the day feel less repetitive. This is the side of Beijing life you rarely see in travel videos. Plastic containers, kitchen counters, and planning ahead. Millions of people are moving through this city, and I am just one of them, trying to build a routine that belongs to me. Some days I feel very grown up. Other days I still call home to ask how long something should boil. I think both can be true. You can be independent and still be learning almost everything. The salad box fills up slowly, one handful at a time. It is a small promise to myself. Tomorrow does not have to begin in a rush. Living alone has made me notice how much comfort can fit inside very ordinary objects. A lunchbox, a clean plate, a drink waiting in the fridge. Things nobody posts about, but everybody needs. I add the carrots, close the lid, and suddenly the next part of the day feels possible. The sauce is the final step. I always tell myself I will use only a little. I rarely keep that promise. Before leaving, I sit down and eat while watching something on my tablet. When you live alone, a screen can become background noise, company, and a way to make the room feel less empty. But I do not see solitude as something sad. It has given me space to understand what kind of life I actually want. Then it is time to leave. Food packed, door locked, elevator down. Beijing apartments can feel like little private worlds, until the front door opens and the entire city rushes back in. I drive because my day usually takes me across different parts of Beijing. The city is huge. A short distance on the map can still mean a long ride, several ring roads, and another underground garage. Traffic can be tiring, but driving also gives me a few quiet minutes between one version of myself and the next. At home I am cooking. In the car I am thinking. At work I have to be focused. First stop. Coffee. Not because I am addicted, at least that is what I tell myself. Coffee shops are everywhere here, and grabbing one has become a tiny ritual before I start working. The order is ready, the bag is in my hand, and the day officially feels like it has started. Outside, Beijing keeps moving at its usual speed. Deliveries, office workers, elevators, messages, meetings. I used to think I had to match that speed every minute. Now I am trying to move with intention instead of simply moving fast. At my desk, I open my laptop and work on the video you are watching right now. Making my first vlog feels strange. I am turning moments that normally disappear into a story someone across the world might see. That is also why I wanted to start this channel, to show China through an ordinary young person's eyes. Not as a headline, not as a tourist attraction, but as a place where people cook lunch, buy coffee, work, and get tired. After work, I go to the gym. This is the part of the day I often want to skip. But I have learned that motivation is unreliable. A routine is much more useful. So I start with the first set, even when I do not feel especially strong. The gym is where the noise in my head becomes simpler. Breathe, push, count, repeat. For a while, there are no unanswered messages and no questions about the future. Just one movement at a time, and the reminder that progress is usually boring before it becomes visible. Being 20 does not mean I feel fearless. Most days, I am still figuring things out as I go. But maybe adulthood is not having every answer. Maybe it is continuing even when you do not. I finish with some walking, slow enough to think, and fast enough to feel like I earned my drink. By now, the day is starting to catch up with me. My body is tired, but my mind feels clearer than it did in the morning. I check the edit again, then find a place to sit with a cold drink. This is another small Beijing habit. Working wherever there is a table, a charger, and decent air conditioning. I sip slowly, make a few more changes, and try not to overthink whether anyone will watch. Every creator begins with 0 viewers. So if you are still here, you might be one of the very first people to find me. Tell me in the comments where you are watching from, and what part of real life in China you would like to see next. And if you want to follow a 20-year-old figuring out life in Beijing, subscribe and stay for the next chapter. I'm Mia. Thank you for spending the day with me. I will see you in the next video.